The diplomatic chamber aboard the Vex-Thor Dominion warship gleamed with bioluminescent panels, casting eerie shadows across the assembled delegates. Commander Zarthok, a towering Krillian with 4 arms and chitinous plating that had withstood 1,000 battles, stood at the center of the circular room. His reputation preceded him. Ruthless, calculating, and utterly contemptuous of the newer species that dared claim space among the established powers. Kaylee Chen stood across from him, her posture relaxed, but her eyes sharp. As Earth's diplomatic envoy, she had negotiated treaties with a dozen species, always finding common ground where others saw only division. Behind her, Isaiah Reeves leaned against the wall, arms crossed, his military background evident in every controlled breath he took. "Your species is weak," Zarthok hissed through his translator, his multiple eyes fixed on Kaylee. "You claim rights to the Andromeda Corridor, yet you cannot even defend your own home system without cowering behind defensive satellites." Kaylee's expression remained neutral. "Commander, we've presented our colonization charter. The corridor was unclaimed and under Galactic Council law—" "Laws?" Zarthok's mandibles clicked in what passed for Krillian laughter. "Laws are for those with the strength to enforce them. Humans are nothing. Soft. Fragile. You've been spacefaring for barely 2 centuries, while my people have conquered systems for 10,000 years." Isaiah straightened slightly, but Kaylee raised a subtle hand, keeping him in place. She had dealt with posturing before. "Nevertheless," she continued calmly, "the Council has—" The slap came without warning. Zarthok's primary arm whipped across the space between them, his clawed hand connecting with Kaylee's face with enough force to send her stumbling backward. The crack echoed through the chamber. The other delegates, representatives from the Quillix Collective, the Mandorian Hierarchy, and the Synthetic Concordance, gasped or emitted their species' equivalent expressions of shock. Kaylee caught herself against a console, blood trickling from her split lip. The chamber fell deathly silent. Isaiah didn't move, not yet. 1 second. Zarthok turned to address the other delegates, dismissing Kaylee entirely. "You see? This is what humanity—" 2 seconds. Kaylee straightened slowly, wiping blood from her mouth with the back of her hand. Her eyes found Isaiah's across the room. She gave the slightest shake of her head, but something in Isaiah's expression had already shifted. Something ancient and primal that no amount of diplomatic training could suppress. 3 seconds. "Commander Zarthok," the Quillix delegate chirped nervously, "striking a diplomatic envoy is a violation of—" "Silence!" the Krillian commander's voice boomed. "I will not be lectured by—" 4 seconds. Isaiah pushed off the wall. His movement was deliberate, controlled, but there was a predatory grace to it that made every being in the room suddenly remember that humans, for all their talk of peace and diplomacy, had evolved as pursuit predators. 5 seconds. "Commander," Isaiah's voice was quiet, almost conversational. "You just made a significant miscalculation." Zarthok turned, his multiple eyes narrowing. "And what will you do, human?" "Strike me in return? I am protected by—" 6 seconds. Isaiah's hand moved to his wrist console, a single button press. That was all it took. Throughout human space, spanning 43 colonized systems and 217 military installations, a signal propagated at faster-than-light speeds. Admiral Chen, Kaylee's father and Supreme Commander of the Human Defense Fleet, received the coded message on the bridge of the UNSS Indomitable. The message was simple. Protocol Omega, Diplomatic Assault, Authorization, Reeves 77 Alpha. The Admiral's expression hardened. He had feared this day would come, had warned the other species that humanity's patience had limits. He opened a fleet-wide channel. All ships, battle stations, full mobilization, target, Krillian Dominion. Within minutes, the galaxy began to tremble. Back in the diplomatic chamber, Zarthok was still speaking, unaware. No authority to threaten the Dominion. We have 600 warships, and you humans barely— The chamber's view screen flickered to life, interrupting him. A Krillian communications officer appeared, his chitinous face pale with fear. Commander, long-range sensors are We're detecting mass fleet movements. Human ships. Hundreds of them. No, thousands. They're dropping out of FTL across the entire sector. They're surrounding us. Zarthok's mandibles froze mid-click. What? Isaiah's voice remained calm. You slapped our chief diplomat, Commander. That's not just an insult. It's an act of war. And here's something you should know about humans. We're very, very protective of our people. The view screen shifted to show tactical displays. Human warships bristling with weapons humanity had kept carefully hidden during their diplomatic expansion now formed an iron ring around Krillian space. Carriers disgorged fighter wings by the thousands. Railgun platforms aligned their targeting systems. Antimatter torpedoes armed in their tubes. The Quillix delegate's translator crackled with panic. This is the largest military mobilization in galactic history. They're mobilizing their entire species. Kaylee stepped forward, blood still on her face, her voice steady. You called us weak, Commander. You said we couldn't defend ourselves. But you misunderstood something fundamental about humanity. We don't build massive fleets because we want to conquer. We build them because we refuse to ever be victims again. Our history taught us that lesson in blood. Isaiah pulled up another display. You're looking at 16,000 warships, Commander. But that's not what should scare you. What should scare you is that we built all of this in secret, while smiling and shaking hands and signing treaties. We hoped we'd never need it. But you just gave us a reason. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the main screen, his expression carved from stone. Commander Zarthok, you have 30 seconds to issue a formal apology to my daughter and to surrender yourself for trial under Galactic Council law. If you refuse, the Krillian Dominion will cease to exist. Choose carefully. We humans have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. You just made us raise our voice. Zarthok's multiple eyes darted between the displays, watching his fleet being surrounded, outgunned, and outmaneuvered. His forearms trembled. 29 seconds had passed since the slap. On the 30th second, the mighty commander of the Krillian Dominion fell to his knees. The galaxy would never again mistake human patience for human weakness.